Good morning and welcome to Virtual Creation Studios here in Charlottetown. We're delighted to have Barry MacLean with Aerus, let's spell this right, Aerus. And he's a consultant for air quality, which is becoming a bigger issue, especially in the housing market. And we're delighted to have you, Barry. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thanks, Paul. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so Aerus is the old Electrolux, whatever people used to say.
Yep.
And I remember years and years ago selling for the competition, Filter Queen, and Electrolux unfortunately beat the crap out of us when it came to air quality all the time. They were very, very good. That was a lot of years ago. I'm still 29, I know, but the bottom line is that
we both are.
Yeah. So, but and now since they've developed into more products, but Barry's here today to talk about the air quality, indoor air quality. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
So, who is Aerus? What do they do?
Aerus, as you mentioned, originally were known as Electrolux. This is their 100th year of
I know,
operation.
they've been around forever.
Yeah. And on PEI, this is their 76th year of business,
Wow.
consecutive.
They've been around for a long, long time.
They have. And at the turn of the century, under new ownership, they took a slightly different tack to add to their vacuum cleaning line. And with that, they got into water purification systems and air purification systems to kind of be able to offer a whole package to both homeowners and businesses in the way of keeping their homes and offices, warehouses, what have you, in better, as a more hospitable environment.
Yeah. Well, we're seeing that now, obviously, since COVID.
Yeah.
You know, we're seeing more of a focus on air quality. It's always been an issue, especially in schools and hospitals and places like that. But now people are starting to focus on the homes. So since COVID, say, have you seen, what have you seen in the marketplace?
Well, it was during COVID that I was introduced to these technologies.
Yeah.
And it was because of COVID that I was introduced to these technologies.
Yeah.
So I did some research. I was asked if I wanted to do some work in the B2B area with the technology. When I was asked that question, I didn't know anything about the technology.
Yeah.
So the owner of the franchise here in Charlottetown, Frank Wood, I said to Frank, I really don't know anything. Give me your elevator pitch, and we'll go from there. So he did, and it was pretty impressive. I was very interested right away in the technology. So I told him to send me what he had,
Right.
and that I would do my own research in addition to that, and I let him know in a couple of weeks. I called him back a week later, and I said, Frank, this is amazing. It's absolutely amazing and badly needed.
Yeah.
I'd love to be a part of this.
Yeah, as everybody knows, especially in our channel, that we do a lot of mortgages, and we're seeing more and more lenders asking for air quality inspections on homes before they can get a mortgage, and it's now part of the financing process. And that's actually when I met up with Barry. I was really interested in it for that reason, because it's becoming a factor. If lenders are not going to give mortgages because of air quality, that's a big deal. So this would certainly satisfy a lot of those problems. Now, when we talked about this the other day, the difference between Aerus and, say, these air things that you buy at Walmart for $55, the big difference, I guess, is the amount of air that it comes out over a square footage, correct?
Sometimes that is, but the technology is at the top.
Yeah.
And the equipment, of course, they have the same reputation and the same care and attention goes into building their air purification equipment as does their vacuum cleaner line.
Yeah, and trust me, when you're going up to head with Electrolux, you don't come out winning, that's for sure. They really are. It's really crazy because you'd see some of these 50-year-old Electroluxes, and they're just, you can't break them. It just seems like they last forever. It really is something, actually. And that's because, years ago I used to sell Filter Queen, so it was really interesting to see it, because their purification systems in those little machines were phenomenal. So 50 years later, or 40 years later, I guess in my case, but I'm sure that technology is probably going into a different stratosphere. So.
Yeah. And you talk about mortgage qualification and other aspects of indoor air quality. There are new standards, new indoor air quality standards coming out. In late 2022, the basin tasked ASHRAE. ASHRAE is the American Society of Heating and Refrigeration Engineers. Mm-hmm. They are the top of the food chain when it comes to indoor air quality and designing air handling systems for commercial, institutional builds along that line. So what the BEI did was say, look, we're hopefully soon coming out of the pandemic, and we have learned that we need to do something to improve our indoor air quality, to minimize to the best of our abilities the passing back and forth of diseases indoors. Yeah. Because the pandemic again opened our eyes as to just how readily that happens. Because COVID, the SARS-2 virus, highly transmissible, contagious in a very short period of time. We learned that globally, that it was running rampant. So in order to be able to tune that back a bit, we had to look at options that would make indoor spaces safer. Right. So that's what ASHRAE was tasked with doing. Now, normally it takes ASHRAE about 24 months to develop and release a standard.
Wow.
They did this in 6 months.
So you do these indoor air quality assessments.
Correct.
So what would that consist of? Like what would the process of that be?
Well, we do those in homes, businesses, any building really we can do them in. And it consists of, number one is doing particulate readings, which we've got a monitor here, and we'll do a live.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. This here thing right here, that's a monitor. And so if you get a reading of like 25, what is this, 25 parts per million? Or?
No, that 25 is, if you look at the front here, it's not on right now, but you'll see two numbers come up when we turn this on. There'll be a number on the right side, there'll be a number on the left side. The number on the right side is large particles in the air, some of which you can see, like the floaties when the sun shines in. They are 5 microns and up. And the smaller particulate at 1 micron, actually this does calculate 2.5 microns down. So the smaller microscopic particles, and what they do is they can get to the smallest part of our lungs, to the smallest branches in our lungs.
Okay.
And those are the most dangerous to us.
So those are those small little...
We cannot see any of those.
Yeah, so the ratings here in the back will go from 25 all the way up to 1,000. So 25 would be really good. 50 would be kind of very good. 50 to 100 is good. 100 to 350 is fair. 350 to 1,000 is pretty poor. And if you're anything over 1,000, you got real issues. I guess that would be the easiest way of putting it.
I like to see it around the 25 mark.
Yeah.
For the best benefits for us. And again, the numbers that show up on the screen here, you'll have to multiply each of them separately by 100, and each one will tell you. So the right side number will show you how many particles of that larger size are in 1 cubic foot of air right here, right now.
Oh, wow.
So if that says 5, that's 500. That's in the excellent quality range.
Okay,
sounds like a lot, but
that's what we want to see.
Yeah, and on this side you'll see 25. If you see 25, that's in actually 2,500, and that is the microscopic particulate in 1 cubic foot of air right here, right now. That is the excellent range.
So the indoor air quality standards, obviously there are some. What number do they want to see as far as those standards are concerned?
Well, those standards are more of an overall. With the new standard coming out, released last year by ASHRAE and going to be implemented in Canada and the U.S. next year, it's aimed solely at lowering disease transmission indoors.
Okay.
So there's no short answer to that, but all different technologies, HEPA, our ActiPure technology, UVC, all those can qualify for the new standard in different ways, and they're assigned different values. So each one requires testing of the protocol for that technology, and then the engineers do the calculations to say, this meets for this space, et cetera. So it's fairly in depth.
Okay. So just so that we know, all of the information for Barry's contact information and some of these standards and the links to Aerus and their air quality will all be in the links below. So obviously give Barry a call if you want to have a indoor air quality consultation. But if you want to follow up or contact him, all of the information will be there, the website, his contact information as well. So don't be afraid to give him a call.
And we are doing those tests right now at no charge.
Wow, that's even better.
Yeah, we want to make people aware of the technology. And like I say, I've been using it for about 4 years now.
Wow.
I'll never be without it. It's absolutely amazing. I put it in my daughter's house, my son's place in Halifax, and my parents' home here in Charlottetown, and it is something that we all need to look at. We all should have our indoor air quality assessed. Then we know if it's helping us or maybe not helping us.
Well, it's very timely because, when I was growing up, this wouldn't even be talked about. But nowadays, with the amount of diseases and airborne pollutants, and we had a conversation with a guy up dealing with plastics that are in the air. It's really frightening, actually. It's just crazy, the amount of these tiny plastic particles. If you do a little bit of research on it, you go, oh, wow, that is something to be aware of. And it's good that we can have a professional consultant come in and talk about and test the air to see exactly what is in the air. And look, for example, this is a studio. It's well insulated and shouldn't have very much pollutants in it at all. But when we turn this machine on, you're going to be kind of, it's eye opening. Put it that way. So, anyways, with further ado, maybe you can turn the machine on and tell us what these numbers look like.
We'll let that take a couple of breaths. This takes a breath about every 7 seconds, which is what we as humans do.
Yeah.
So every 7 seconds, you're going to see a new set of readings.
Okay.
And right now, on the left side where the microscopic particulate is, it's reading close to 1,100.
Wow.
Which is 110,000 particles per cubic foot of air. Keep in mind that 25 is excellent quality air, so your multitude's higher than that.
So we've got issues. Just hold on. So 1,100, and that's on the
microscopic. Those are the most dangerous ones.
Okay.
I don't really worry too much about the larger particulate, because if there is an issue with the smaller particulate and we can remove the smaller particulate, we're automatically getting the larger particles as well.
Wow, that is really something.
And these are more dangerous. So if you want, I can turn on the unit over here, and we'll just continue on as if we were normal.
Okay. So maybe I'll work the camera. We'll move it over this way, and just to see whether we can't get it on the screen. So let's talk about this piece of equipment here.
Okay.
So what exactly is this, and what does it do?
This is our flagship product. It does two things, and it does them both very well. The filtration, everybody is aware, or most people are aware, that HEPA filters are the gold standard when you want to remove particulate from the air. The filter in this unit goes even beyond that, in that it can remove particulate from the air up to 3 times smaller than what a HEPA filter can. The other technology is called Active Pure. If you look in the front and you see that yellow or greenish blue glow, that is the Active Pure cell. Active Pure is a replica of one of Mother Nature's best technologies. Outside every day, she uses some UV from the sun, and that, when it meets up with some ambient moisture, humidity in the air, reconfigures some of the H2O molecules into purifiers, oxidizers, some people call them. So she uses that every day outside to get rid of some bacteria, viruses, mold, fungus, and VOCs. Turns out that that process is very, very important, and if she were ever to stop doing that, it would not be good for humanity. In the mid-90s, again, with that problem that they're having on the space station, this was originated to solve the problem that they encountered when they started to do a lot of growing experiments with plants. Plants, when they mature, they give off ethylene and some other VOC gases, and in a space station, you're limited as to how you can deal with that. So that's how it came to be, because the team on the ground at NASA was asked how to solve that problem with the gas off-gassing from the plants as they matured, and they said, well, this is what Mother Nature does outside, so what we have to do is figure out how she does that process, and then hopefully we can come up with equipment that will be able to duplicate her efforts, but inside our buildings without her help. And that's how ActivePure came into being.
And how long has this technology been around?
It's been around, well, it originated in the mid-90s. The technology was privatized around 2000, and the owner of ActivePure had been keeping his eye on it for a few years, and he was able to purchase it. So since 2000, he invested millions of dollars into research and improving the technology, so much so to the point that in 2017, ActivePure technology was inducted into the Space Technology Hall of Fame.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's the only purification technology in that Hall of Fame. So long before COVID, it was proven to be very effective in inactivating pathogens both in the air and on surfaces in the indoor space.
Now it should be noted, I'm going to pan this over here for a second and try to. And since Barry's been talking for about a minute, right?
Well, I can tell you exactly. 5 minutes.
So we've seen that number go from 1,100 down to 453 in less
5
than
minutes.
a minute, or less than 5 minutes. So pretty impressive. And that's what the monitor is going. It really is. Wow. You told me that.
Can you feel a difference in how the air feels in here, Paul?
Oh yeah, you can. It's way fresher. And bear in mind too, this is kind of an isolated, studio. So it's it is pretty impressive. Oops.
An isolated studio on the lower level, let's call it.
Yeah. And that might be the factor because it is on the lower level. Oops. Sorry for that. Oops, shaky. This. There we go. So for a home, a normal home of, say, 2,100 square feet, 2,400, this would do for the whole home.
Depending on the layout of the home, yes.
Yeah. So, as long as you get airflow.
And this is designed to run 24/7.
Okay.
And it is also, our equipment is all Energy Star certified. So this is what I use at home. This is what originally was a home unit. But it's found its way into, here on the island, into homes, offices, daycares, and many other applications, school libraries.
Okay. So just like any small business, that, especially anybody that's dealing with the public, it's really something that they probably should look at.
Yeah, some of our equipment has ActivePure only.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great for larger areas where your primary focus is helping people not pass things back and forth.
Okay.
But in an area like a library where you have a lot of people and you tend to have carpets for sound absorption, and carpets are great to hold debris, so every time somebody steps on a carpet, you have little poofs going off.
Yeah.
And yeah, I tell people it's like Pigpen on Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
You get those poofs. So
My
it's good
second
to
cousin.
yeah, it's good to have both technologies going in a heavily populated environment like that where people are sitting around. And homes, of course, is the main qualifier for that.
So is there anything else you want to tell our audience about the products?
Well, we've learned in the last few years that we need to know what our indoor quality is. And the reason being, it affects both our short-term health and our long-term health. It's been proven higher levels of indoor air quality have been proven to improve cognition, improve overall health, improve productivity in the workplace, because they are more able to do what they want to do without having to have the body fighting particulate or VOCs, chemicals in the air. There's a number of different factors, but if you Google indoor air quality in whatever type of building that you have, then you'll find information. There's literally thousands of studies out there that show that good indoor air quality is good for our health.
Awesome. Well, Barry, thank you very much for showing up and giving us an intro. Again, we're going to have all of the information and links down below. So we appreciate Barry's time, and thank you so much for coming in and showing us what we're breathing.
My pleasure, Paul. What's our sign-off number on the monitor?
And since we've talked, it's gone down to 325 now. So
Continuing to go down.
It's continuing to go down in less than 10 minutes.
Yeah. Active pure, unlike filtration. Filtration is capture-based. The active pure purification molecules are filling the space 24/7. So when they encounter a pathogen, they inactivate it on contact.
Wow. That is really, really cool.
It is. It is for sure.
Awesome.
Thank you very much, Paul. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk with you today.